Oh, welcome back, folks. Tonight we are doing another special one. We are doing the Schluter rankings of our top 15 best running backs around. So grab yourself a cocktail and let's get into it. Kyle, how are you doing today?
I am doing wonderful. How are you doing?
And there is never a complaint from this man. So let's have a good one today. Let's have a big one today. We're talking running backs. I know it's one of your favorite positions. Are you ready to get after it?
Yes. Like, subscribe, comment your top RBs below. Let's dive into the top 15 RBs on Schluter Rankings.
All right, all right.
Take her away, boss.
Oh, you're saying I'm going Bijan first, but okay.
You're taking Bijan. You're taking Bijan.
I would love nothing more.
How would you feel drafting Bijan in Big Tuna this year?
I would feel great about it, especially about, somewhere between the 3 and 5 pick. We're talking 2 quarterback leagues, folks, so that's why it's a bit thrown off. But yeah, I'd love between 3 to 5. You?
Absolutely. Absolutely. He is RB1 for us. Last year, he had 1,450 yards rushing, average 4.8 yards a carry. He had another 60 grabs for 430 yards and a touchdown through the air. ESPN's actually got him down, despite being a top running back, about 50 carries this year, just under 1,200 yards, 4.7 yards a carry, 10 touchdowns, 55 grabs, 428 yards. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I have no idea why ESPN has him down on anything. It actually disturbs me. I think the fantasy value that lies within Bijan is when you see him play, you know he's the best running back in all of NFL right now. You see him cut, you see him get the ball and make defenders look stupid. It's just without a doubt, like that's why he's the best. It's not his offensive line, it's not his team, it's not anything else. It's that. It's what you see, and you're just like, wow.
Yep. 100% agree. I think he's the most talented all around running back in the NFL.
Hmm.
I do think he's got a good offensive line, though. So we have him as RB1. Uh, Next up, Barkley. Saquon Barkley finished as RB1, projected RB2 this year. His ADP somewhere around 3. This is the 2,000-yard rusher last year, 345 attempts, 2,000 yards. Little light on the passing, surprisingly. He can catch, but he caught 33 last year, 270 yards, 2
He can
touchdowns.
also drop. He can also drop.
So, I mean, take that into consideration for PPR leagues as well. Bijan doubled his catches. ESPN's down on him a bit this year with 332 carries, 1,600 yards, 4.8 yards a carry. And then they're up on his passing game, though, 48 grabs, 370 yards. Last year, this man averaged 5.8 yards a carry. Adam, can he do it again?
Those are ludicrous numbers, but behind the best offensive line in the NFL, you can do that. And it's just crazy to think how he is the next best talented RB in terms of behind Bijan. However, he is behind the best offensive line in the league, and then he goes as number 2. Because any like logical world you say that in, that would be the number 1 back, best offensive line, second best talent. It's just not the case, and that's just because of how special Bijan really is. And Barkley's aging a little bit.
Yeah,
But
that's
let's
one of the bigger component for me is the age difference.
yeah, absolutely. Why don't you dive into someone though who's a little bit younger? We don't have to worry about that age difference.
Okay, RB3 for Schluter Rankings. Jahmyr Gibbs finished last year as RB3, projected RB3 by ESPN. So we are in consensus with ESPN on that one as well. 250 attempts last year. Notice he had 50 less attempts than Bijan and almost 100 less attempts than Saquon last year. That's interesting. Still rushed for 1,400 yards, average 5.6 yards a carry. 16 rushing touchdowns, another 50 grabs, 500 yards, and 4 touchdowns through the air. So a great dual threat guy here. Crazy rushing average as well. Really, the only thing you have to think about with Gibbs is the fact that Montgomery is still there. So that is probably why he's at 3 for us. Adam, what's your
Yeah.
thoughts on Gibbs?
Yeah, I mean, I think what you highlighted early and often was his efficiency, right? I mean, he's not the top 1 or 2 guy, but he's a 3rd guy because of his efficiency, his ability to get it done with 80 to 100 less carries, and you throw in a couple more receptions to make that happen. But the dude's phenomenal. However, he's the only running back in the top 5, top 8 tier that has someone
Yes.
close to
But
him that can absorb some carries, and that's the only difference maker within this guy and why he's number 3. If he had no Montgomery behind him, I mean, you could easily put him at 1 or 2, depending on the league you're in between PPR or standard. And that's just the way it is. But the dude is efficient as heck, phenomenal running back. And, he's only got more upside about him as we go.
Yeah, and I think him and Bijan are probably the two sexiest runners. Just watching them run, it's sexy.
Yeah. Yeah. Until you see the Eagles offensive line run, and then you're like, "Oof,"
Well, yeah. I mean, that's why that's
equally.
part of the reason he's up there, but they're young and they're extremely talented. All right, you ready to talk about number 4?
Hit me deep.
Take it away.
It is our boy, Derrick Henry. And for those sitting back confused right now, these are standard rankings, and this is how it goes. You talk about some dude that's going to give you 1,900 yards and 16 touchdowns. That's when we're talking standard running backs in the NFL. And for fantasy purposes, it doesn't get any better than that. In the goal line, he's going to get all the looks. The only time he doesn't get them is when, Lamar sneaks in and snags one. But Derrick Henry is defying all of age and physics and doing what he does at a high level, and we love him for that.
Yeah, I'm actually on the Derrick Henry diet over here. I'm eating
Oh,
the same
wow.
thing.
What are
I'm
you eating?
trying to follow his workout program. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Just
man,
trying to keep this body in shape.
make sure to send all that in the comments or wherever we got here. Make sure you let the people know what that's got going
All
on.
right. Derrick Henry ran for 325 attempts, 1,900 yards, 5.9 yards a carry average, led the NFL with average last year, 16 touchdowns. I don't really want to talk about his passing because it wasn't great. But this is a standard scoring format. So for standard scoring, he's RB4 for us. ESPN's down a little bit on him for basically everything this year. And I do see, does he get 1,900 yards? Probably not. Does he average 5.9 yards a carry? Probably not. Could he have a couple less touchdowns? Yes.
And he would
He's
still be equally as efficient or productive for your team. Yeah.
Exactly. All right. Next up, Josh Jacobs. This is probably a surprise to a lot of people. And
Surprise to me.
this is mostly because of standard scoring formats, honestly. And we think these guys are the touchdown guys. Josh Jacobs he also finished as RB5 last year, projected 9 overall by ESPN. Last year, he ran 300 attempts, 1,300 yards, average 4.4 yards carry, 15 touchdowns. He did have 36 grabs, 340 yards, and a rushing touchdown or receiving touchdown as well. And they're basically projecting a very similar performance for him this year. And sure, same thing with Henry. He could have a touchdown less. He could have a touchdown more. You know what I mean? But by and large, this is a great moving him to Green Bay in this offense. I think has reminded the league of wow, how talented this really is.
100%. And we got that reminder last year. And what else has to be said is McFleur loves to give this ball on certain possessions 5, 6, 7, 8 times a possession. They literally say, we're going to give the ball to Jacobs and let him do his thing behind this offensive line. And if it opens something up, great. If it doesn't, that's fine too. They literally feed him the ball. That's why he's there. That's why they paid him approximately $12 million a year to be there. That's not a historical Packers running back. Normally, it's guys off the couch that you pay $1 to $2 million a year to, and you say, see you later next year. They didn't do that for him, and they're proving that within the volume that they're giving him. So kudos to you, Josh Jacobs. Keep it rolling. Next up, we got
Take it away.
CMC. And what a question mark of a running back that this is. By and large, a Hall of Famer. By and large, someone that could easily help you win a fantasy championship every year that you need him to and every year that he's healthy. And that's the question mark, right? But last year he was unhealthy. So this year we're going to sway with that pendulum and say he is healthy. And that is why we're putting him here just after him. This guy's a freak show. There's not much else you can say about it. He's a freak show. He does it all.
Yeah, I mean, this is like, prior to last year, he was the number 1 running back off the board, right? So you had that crazy injury and all the games he missed and all the. So if you had him last year, you were burned by him and you're probably out on him. And that's just how it falls sometimes. But assuming he's good enough to play in this offense, especially with what's going on in the receivers, he's going to get a lot of work. And if he's anywhere close to as efficient or productive he was, it's going to be phenomenal for fantasy, assuming all those things happen. So you can't, it's hard to put him any lower unless you're just scared of this injury that happened last year.
Yeah, I mean, that's well said. And you can't live in fear, especially after he's had so many months to rest. Let him ride and see what happens.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and if this was a PPR format, he would be ahead of those last two guys we talked about, at least for me.
Correct. Nope, that's fair. And as you say that, coming in at number 7 for us is Achane. And had this be a PPR format, he'd also be a little bit in front of that because the dude had 78 catches last year with 592 receiving yards and 6 touchdowns, all reception based. That is phenomenal. But this is a standard league, and that's why we're putting him here. And the dude is still the prominent RB1 within this Dolphins offense. He's not going anywhere, and there's no one even close to behind him. So that's why Achane's here. Kyle, what's your thoughts on Achane?
Yeah, you're definitely higher on him than I am. But with his receiving work and his big play home run ability, it is hard to get any lower on him. I see that. He did only rush for 900 yards last year. Still averaged 4.5 yards a carry, which is very good, and only 6 touchdowns. So I think this is a guy who that was on the ground. He had 12 combined. I think he gets a bump in that department, and I think he's in this territory for fantasy this year. PPR,
Yeah,
I would give him a big bump.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, just factor other things in. If Tua's healthy the full year, Achane will be a top 5 RB without a doubt, standard or PPR. He will be a top 5 RB. It's just if Tua is healthy, and so the fact that you have to hinge your running back's health on another position is unfortunate, but that is the world we live in.
Okay, moving on. A guy I'm a little higher on, Ashton Jeanty, comes in at RB8 for us. Basically, again, standard scoring format here. We think this guy is a physical beast. He is the standout dude in this backfield. And I think he's going to fall into the end zone enough times to make you very happy. I don't know about the Raiders offense as a whole, but they certainly have some pieces to make them a very competent and capable offense. So, really the talent here is the reason that I think he falls into this category, and it's hard to bet against a guy that talented.
Yeah, and for anyone questioning his talent at this point, just watch his very short stint of preseason games, and you can see
He
how he
truck
can
sticked.
literally truck stick people, run around people, juke people. There's a reason why he has all this clout. And although me and Kyle are not the ones drive high on that clout or go for a rookie running back this early, we understand why. The dude's an
Yeah.
absolute freak show and a stud, and that's why he went so early in the draft. However, the only thing we question about is the offense of the Raiders good enough to justify this means? And that's where the question mark lies there. And that's why he's a little bit lower on our boards than others.
Yeah, but I think he's priced right here at RB8, unproven. Could he be top 5? He certainly could, but I think there's a little bit of more risk just being the rookie component in general.
Yeah.
And if it was the Philadelphia offensive line, you could probably get a little more excited about it as well, and we'd be moving them up. But it's not. It's the Raiders, and their offensive line isn't that great. But this guy is talented enough. Go back and watch that preseason truck stick that Adam talked about. It's pretty cool. Next up, you want to take away Chase Brown?
I mean, I would love to. I just don't want to take it from you. I know he's your guy over there.
No, let's hear it.
All right. Well, I mean, Chase Brown is high on our board, folks, and there's a good reason for it. The most highest reason I can think of for it, the Bengals have to put up 30 points a game in order to survive this football season. So that's the best point right there. He finishes RB 12. Projections early on at 13th. All questionable. The dude averages so much volume. It is insane. And that's why he's in our top 10. Last year, he got roughly 18 carries per game, roughly 5 targets a game, 23 touches overall. That is some serious potential to be fantasy productive. And that's why he's on our board where he is right now.
Yeah, we have in here after Moss went down, he averaged 20 points per game in there. And second half of the season, he came on very strong. He wasn't really involved a whole lot toward the beginning of the season. It was so, and this is not a split backfield. Like Chase Brown is going to be the guy. He's going to be the workhorse, really talented young guy. So I think this is where we like him for receiving and rushing touchdown upside in an offense that's going to need him to produce.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Next up,
We got Jonathan Taylor. Which
okay.
is, and he's a bit of a value in himself because is he a better running back than the previous few we've mentioned? Yes, absolutely. But the offense behind him is so questionable, it begs a lot of questions. And now that Daniel Jones has been listed as the complete starter, which also takes away rushing upside, it just really puts you in a big question mark for where Jonathan Taylor should go. Running back ability, potential, clearly top 10. But when you have to factor in these question marks that we are getting every week with updates about who the quarterback is and who they're throwing the ball to and the offensive line, all of that makes it very confusing.
Yeah, it's one of the better. It's a top 10 offensive line. He's been a guy that's been able to be a great running back when healthy. He's proven that. So I think they're going to be able to run the ball pretty well. And it's never usually been a committee approach. So, and he does everything well, right? He's a good runner. He's a good pass catcher. And if you don't have Anthony Richard taking goal line work away from him, I think this is where you got to have him.
Yeah, that's fair enough. He's so good where it's like, where do you limit him based on this team? And that's where the question mark really lies. And I think that's why we put him here.
Okay. Next up, let me take it away.
Center deep.
Kyren Williams comes in at RB11 for us, and this is another one standard scoring. He had 14 touchdowns last year, and really his usage in this offense, they're down there. They're just feeding him the ball to punch it in. So that speaks volumes. The guy had over 300 carries, almost 1,300 yards, average 4.1 yards a carry. Wasn't as effective in the passing game. So for PPR, I'd be a little lower on this guy. But how he's used, he's a very physical runner. And this is, again, an offense that despite taking Blake Corum the previous year and another rookie, they don't seem to want to use much of a committee. So I still think he's the lock in the lineup and a good offense. And they'd like him in the red zone. So standard scoring, you got to have him around this range. Adam?
Yeah, I mean, I think you hit on the head there. That's all fair. I want to talk about next our boy Bucky Irving. Okay, and the only reason he's slated a little bit is because of Rachaad White being close. He's a good second running back to have behind you. But Bucky Irving is absolutely a stud in the backfield, and last year he showed it. I had shares of Rachaad White, and when you saw Bucky run the football, you were like, "Oh my God, this guy is a better back." I expect to see more of that. This Buccaneers offense is going to be very potent, very high powered. And because of that, Bucky Irving has no other place to be other than this in our rankings.
Sure. Yeah, and in preseason he played. It doesn't look like it's going to be any kind of a committee either. It looks like it's going to be he's the workhorse again. So I think Rachaad White. I think might be injured right now, but he's just nowhere near as talented. So I think this is who they're going to use as the workhorse. So I think it's going to be fantasy gold for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, next up, James Cook. Last year, I mean, the guy killed it. He had 18
and he got
touchdowns?
paid.
He got paid. Finished as RB7. So there, I mean, what a great year! Just over 1,000 yards, and we're projecting a very similar performance. Basically, 6 less touchdowns by ESPN right now. He doesn't do a lot through the air. He had 32 grabs last year, 258 yards, 2 touchdowns receiving. And this is an offense where it is a bit of a committee with Ray Davis. So you do have to take that into consideration. However, this is one of the most high-powered offenses in the NFL and a phenomenal offensive line. So, and to me, he is the clear standout for talent-wise. I do think Ray Davis is good, but James Cook is still better. So that's why he comes in at 13 for our rankings. Adam, anything on Cook?
I mean, not much else to add there. When you get 16 touchdowns, when you're going this late, that's good value right there. If you can redo those 16 touchdowns, that's another story.
Yeah, I mean, he finished as RB7 last year, and we have him at 13. And mostly the joint rankings and just the upside of some of the other guys that we have here. I don't even know what ESPN's got on him right now. Are they close? Oh, they got him at 12. So we're basically in line with ESPN on him right now. We're expecting some touchdown regression is really it. Otherwise, this is a great running back. He averaged 4.9 yards a carry last year, so it's a fantastic option for your lineups.
Yeah, absolutely.
Next up,
at 14, Omarion Hampton. And boy, has this bad boy jumped up the rookie rankings. Whether that's because of Najee's eye injury or is because he is this good, we'll find out very shortly. But this guy is going to be behind one of the best running offenses in the NFL, and he is one of the best running backs in the draft this year. So that's why he's getting all this love and respect. The dude's a freak show. He's a big, tough back. He knows how to run the ball after getting hit. We got nothing but high things to say about him. And if Najee Harris has some some issues with his eye, this is going to be a league winner right here.
Yeah, I mean, the guys that were there last year were J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards, who, have had moments of success in Baltimore, but nothing really like crazy outperformance. And this team rushed very well last year. So you get an elite talent like Hampton in there, and most people are probably higher on him. ESPN's got him at 12 right now. So we're a little less just because of the rookie component and being a little unknown. And how much work does Najee have if and when he comes back, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Then we got last on our top 15, Kenny Walker just makes the cut pretty much for his talent.
Just barely,
here.
just a little bit.
Just barely. ESPN's got him at RB14. He finished last year at 29, missing 6 weeks. ADP is around 44th overall. He only averaged 3.7 yards a carry last year, and his production was outpaced by Charbonnet, but he did have some injuries. He is just the higher play here, right? The higher upside play. He's fun to watch. He's an electric player. He's the home run hitter. So that's kind of where we think this is going to be a running offense with an improved offensive line. And he has had moments of great finishes and great fantasy production. So assuming he stays healthy, he's going to be good for fantasy. I think we don't think it's going to be a 50-50 committee type thing. Although I do see production from Charbonnet. I see a little more than you. So this is where he falls on the joint rankings. Adam, talk about Kenny.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing about Kenny is it's a contract year. And anytime you run the ball for millions of football dollars, you're going to produce, okay? You're going to produce. So, Dave, you watch those eyebrows because we're going to have a good time out there. But no, I mean, is Charbonnet going to come in and swoop some? Maybe. But history tells us he won't do it unless Kenny goes down. So that's what we're going to wait for.
Speaking of that, if you do draft Kenny, I think this is one of the most important handcuffs in all of fantasy football this year. Zach Charbonnet. Make sure you get him as well. That's how I feel about it. Adam, anything else on these top 15 RB Schluter rankings you want to mention?
No, it's not a dying breed yet, folks. It's not a dying breed yet. Get you guys in while you can.
All right, folks. Thanks for tuning in to the Fantasy Football Channel. Next up is Divas. We're breaking down the top 15 Schluter rankings, and we'll catch you guys in the next one.